So what causes you the most stress? After more than 25 years of being in leadership and management positions, my conclusion is that conflict is what causes the most stress for most leaders. Hi, my name is Todd Reimer. I'm the founder of Boots on the Ground Coaching and also the author of More Than a Hammer, Leadership Tools for the Trades, Part 1 and Part 2. I want to share a brief personal story with you regarding conflict and why a blueprint for leading productive conflict is essential for every leader. I was just a young leader. It was actually my first formal leadership position. And it happened that a good friend worked with me at that time, and I ended up becoming his supervisor. It all went really well until I ended up in a conflict with him. And the reality of it is, I handled it badly, and so did he. We didn't talk anymore. We didn't interact hardly at all. Now let's fast forward 4 years. I'd finally had enough, and so I called a meeting. And I thought, let's finally resolve this. It was going to be good. I was excited about the potential for the meeting, to be able to resolve the conflict that we'd been engaged in for almost 4 years. Here's how I saw it going. I'd apologize for the role that I had played in the issue, and he'd apologize. We'd shake hands, we'd walk out arm in arm, and it wouldn't be perfect, but we'd be on our way to reestablishing our friendship and a working relationship. Well, I apologized. I started it off by apologizing for my role, and then I waited. And he didn't. He didn't apologize. He did not come towards the center line of trying to resolve the issues between us. This was a very significant disappointment for me. What happened? I didn't have a plan. It was very simple. I didn't have a plan for productive conflict. When we build a house, play a sport, or even change our diet, we have a plan. But often when we engage in conflict as leaders, we try to wing it. Why do we do this? It's because we don't enjoy conflict. Well, nobody does other than a psychopath. So the rest of us, we need a blueprint for leading productive conflict. There's 3 elements to our blueprint. The first one is we need to set goals. We need to know what I want to accomplish through the conflict resolution. What do I want to be able to accomplish during our time that we're going to be engaged in trying to resolve the conflict? The first goal we need to set is a what goal. The results. What results are we looking for? What results are we anticipating and working towards? Is it restoring a relationship? Is it bringing us both back into line with our organizational and company purpose and vision, or the values of our company? The second type of goal that we need to set is a how goal, a tactics goal. How are we going to accomplish this? How are we going to interact during the conflict? Are we going to yell? Are we going to let our emotions get out of hand? Or are we not? We need to set goals that we will stay in control of our emotions and how we come across. Something to remember is that whoever loses control first loses. And the third type of goal we need to set is a why goal. Why do the results matter to us? This gives us the reason to not only just initiate the conflict resolution, but also the ability to see it through, to persevere through the difficult times and the challenges that are going to come. Potentially, there will come a time during every conflict where we will feel like walking away, just giving up, that it's not worth it. Our why needs to matter enough to us. The second element is to record. Write things down. What do we write down, and why do we write things down? Well, the first reason is to clarify. We need to write down our goals, the direction we're going to take, our why. Why are we doing this? What are the key points? What do we need to definitely cover during the conflict situation? The second reason we write things down is to cover things off. During the meeting, we need to cover off the things that we clarified on our list. What I mean is, as we cover something that we've clarified, we need to check it off. We need to make sure that we cover each step off so that we don't miss important items that we need to make sure that we cover. And the third reason to record and write things down is to call to mind. And what I mean by this is we need to write things down and record things so that we remember the things that we discussed during this time, the details that we covered, and the solutions that we arrived at, and the action steps that we agreed to together. Often, when emotions are high during a conflict, afterwards we forget about the details. Once the adrenaline dissipates and leaves, we forget about some of the things that we agreed to. We're only too glad to be finished with the conflict, and we don't necessarily remember the details of what we talked about. If we're going to engage in productive conflict, we need to remember the details that we agreed to. And the third element of our blueprint is our approach. It needs to be face to face. Our approach needs to be face to face for three reasons. The first reason is respect. We show the people that we're engaging in productive conflict with that we respect them enough to sit down across from them face to face and have the difficult conversation with them. That we respect them enough that we're not going to just pass it off onto someone else or use email or a text message or even just a phone call. But we're going to have enough respect for them that we're going to sit down across from them face to face. The second reason that we need to take a face-to-face approach is for resolution. And what I mean is this: we need to be resolved that we're going to deal with it. And being resolved means we have courage. Sitting down with someone face-to-face and entering into productive conflict shows courage. Leaders must exhibit courage. If we try to avoid and evade conflict situations, the people that we're trying to lead and that we're supervising are going to lose their trust in us because they won't see the courage that they need to see if they're going to follow us. And the third reason to take the face-to-face approach is because it's real communication. We're able to see and hear what the other person is really communicating and vice versa. We're not just going to hear their words. They're not going to just hear our words. We're going to hear the tone. We're going to see the body language. We're going to be able to read each other, what really matters and how we're coming across. It's real communication. This blueprint is going to help you master one of the most valuable leadership tools that you'll ever use. Once more, this blueprint that we just went through, these three elements, will help you master one of the most valuable leadership tools you'll ever use. Now, there are 12 other elements that you're going to find in my books, More Than a Hammer, Leadership Tools for the Trades, Part 1 and Part 2. And there's a number of other leadership tools that will literally change the way you lead and the effects of your leadership in your company, your organization, your crew, and the men and women that you supervise. Take a minute and click on the link below, www.morethanahammerbook.com. More Than a Hammer, Leadership Tools for the Trades holds the potential to change your life. These books hold the tools and the principles that, if you put them into practice, have the ability to change the way you lead, to bring people along with you where you need them to go and where you need to go. Don't miss this opportunity to invest in yourself, and by doing that, to invest in the people you lead and the organization that you're a leader in. Take the time to invest in you. You're worth it. You're too valuable to not do it. The audiobook is going to give you access to all the same tools as the print book. Don't miss the chance to change your leadership and change your organization and impact the lives of the people you lead. www.morethanahammerbook.com. The book that will change the way you lead.